Okay, what's up guys? So this is sales number 3. Our script, the script, the winning script, the script you're gonna use and learn and run, etc. Okay? Here I have on screen, literally my starting script that I wrote 50 minutes before my first ever call, and that's what we've stuck with ever since. Alright? I'm gonna go through it, and you guys have everything here. The only adjustments that I've made is, like I said, I've removed stuff from it. So, see the stuff that's crossed out? Okay? I don't say this anymore in any calls. I don't say this anymore in any calls. Now, when you're starting out, you probably should try saying this, and I'll explain all that because it just seems like you're giving these people so much more value for whatever you're asking retainer-wise. Okay? And the only other addition is this yellow part that I added because this is important for you guys to understand. This is also part of the fucking script. Okay? So, let's go through it. You know the structure of the calls from the last video? And this is, you know, the actual fucking script now in this video. Okay? So, structure-wise, you jump straight in, right? So you say, okay, cool, let's dive in. Just so I know, have you ever been on a podcast before? You ever worked in an agency before? Yes or no? You say yes. If they say no, it doesn't matter, you go here. You say, all right, listen guys, so the goal of the call is to give you guys full clarity on what we can do together on TikTok and see if we're gonna be in alignment to scale your brand. All I want is a yes or no at the end if you can make that decision. Because the other reason you're saying this is because sometimes they're like, oh, business partner, oh, wife, oh, whatever the fuck. And then ideally, at the start, you guys go through the script anyway, just get practice reps. Later on, if they say something like that, just reschedule for both decision makers on the line, okay? If yes, then we'll take an initial deposit. I'll send over the contract, you read it, sign it, off we go. If no, no problems, but at the very least, I'm gonna give you everything you need to know to go big on TikTok so it won't ever be a waste of time, okay? Again, what I'm using now, I'm giving you guys what I started with because you are starting the same point. I was starting at 0 here. Okay, from this I built out variations, iterations, differences, like using my language and stuff that came more naturally to me, etc., etc. So I'm giving you guys this starting script. You'll also have my recent calls and like on the last video where I went over these parts and like the stuff that I say on calls, the stuff that I teach my salespeople to say on calls. It's a little bit divergent from what you see here, but that's no problem because that's just what we naturally, organically kind of evolved into, right? So I want you guys to use the same starting base that I did because again, this got us to 100K, 400K months. And as you make iterations and improvements and changes, your script organically becomes your own, right? That's the ultimate goal. This script as is should get you 20% close rate as a raw beginner with no experience in sales, and then assuming you do good objection handling, and you're actually not afraid to take people's money. But otherwise, after you become good as a salesperson, that should add another 10%-ish, okay, high level. So then you have to qualify, right? You set expectations here for the deposit. That's what this is, right? Then you qualify them to make them feel special. Qualify all these fuckers, make them feel special. Average monthly revenue, average order value, COGS, cost of goods served, sold, served, doesn't matter. And then their best seller, just so they think you're actually looking at the brand. Okay? Then what percentage of monthly revenue email makes up and what the conversion rate is of the store. Okay? And we talked about that in the last video. You go through these questions, and you understand these numbers, these are the metrics, that's what you're screening them as, that's what you screen them on. And what you're really looking for is these two, right? AOV and COGS, and when you have an understanding of the average monthly revenue, you're like, okay, great, wow, you have such amazing margins. Yeah, we make it work with people who have like a quarter of your margins. Your margins like this, we can make this work with our eyes closed, like so easy. And that's how you make them feel special, right? And you get email percentage so that you can talk about the uplift that you'll get them. Uplift is what you improve upon, right? So if they say, oh, I don't know, like 5% of my monthly revenue, like great, we can get that at 50 to 20. And that's first month right away, boom, you have increase in revenue. Okay, conversion rate, like, oh, we converted 0.5, great, we can get that to 1 to 2 off cold traffic, right? So potentially 4x increase in revenue for your store off all the existing traffic that's already coming in, just by making changes to Lancer. Okay, and then you guys ask some questions. Remember I said that I thought I had 9 questions, looks like I have 8, because this is 0, right? So that's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so 8 questions here that I started with, and I've distilled it down to the core 4. If you want to run with the core 4, do it. If you want to start here, just to have a better kind of structure and understanding of what sorts of answers people give, do this, right? So first one, what are you currently doing to grow your profitability? Second one, what's your overall biggest goal? What do you want to achieve? Okay. Third one, have you been burned by an agency in the past? There's reasons behind each one, okay? So what are you currently doing to grow your profitability so you understand what they're trying to do, so you have more ammunition to say why it's not working or why your thing is so much better. What's your overall biggest goal? What do you want to achieve? This one is to know, they're here, they want to get here, right? Just to get that cemented. Have you ever been burned by an agency in the past? If they've worked with agencies, they'll say yes, okay? And the reason you want to put this in there is to draw a comparison between all the crappy other agencies and you, okay? And the comparison that I say script-wise is I say this, look, we have one team, which is the best team, which is the A team, and that's the only team we have, and that's, no matter how big you are as a client, you always get the best team. So it doesn't matter if you're making under 10K a month, if you're doing 50K, if you're doing 100K, if you're coming to us doing 500,000 a month and we want to scale to multi-million-dollar months, every single client gets the same team, which is the best team, okay? Now, for that reason, our prices are going to be higher than other agencies. I say highest, right? For me, for Boom, I say highest. You guys can start with higher, and then you justify it. You say, well, because the typical agency in this space, these are the numbers. Typical agency in this space has an 85% churn rate. So what that means is 85% of people who sign on, finish the first contract, and then disappear because they never got results. And then the 15% who randomly stumbled into results are like the shining case studies you see displayed on that agency websites, right? Now, for us, in comparison, we have above, I don't know exactly, we have above like 90% retention. Basically all the clients we take on, because I qualify them at the start, I qualified you guys at the start to make sure we can actually grow your brand, right? All the clients that we take on, they become clients we have long-term relationships with because we've successfully grown their stores and given them new profits, new revenue, big money, right? So they love working with us. So that's the difference. Now, to be able to achieve that, we can only really handle between 13 and 15 clients at a time. We just don't have bandwidth for more. Right? That's why I'm on this call. That's why I'm talking to you as the owner, right? I'm not some sales guy, right? I actually want to know if we can grow your brand, if we can, work together to make it go big. And then what I want ultimately are these long-term partnerships with people like you. Okay? That's why you're talking to me, and there's no pressure on this call at all. Other agencies, what they do is they get as many calls as possible, and they offer everyone some cheap, 2, 3K a month monthly retainer. And if you're doing any sort of decent monthly volume of revenue, you can afford that, right? But then their margins are so small that all your work is being offshored to $2 an hour Filipino virtual assistants, and nobody gets results, but that's what that agency has to do to make some profit, okay? We have a different business model, and I'll explain it later on, okay? So that's just to compare and contrast. You've been burned by an agency in the past, is to compare and contrast how bad they are to how great you're gonna be, okay? This is, why does your goal matter for you, for your family? Like, do you wanna do it for your family? Do you wanna provide for your parents? Do you wanna give loved ones the life they deserve? Like, what's really driving this, the overall biggest goal, right? What you wanna achieve? Why does it matter to you, okay? And this is explained, that's the core emotional question that you're looking for an answer for. And this is what you write down the answers here, okay? So you can reference it in objection handling. Next up, what's the biggest struggle getting sales? So that you understand what they don't have competence in, and you can emphasize in your pitch the stuff that they say they struggle with. Right? Say, yeah, we're great at this, we're great at this, we're great at this. And you told me yourself, you suck at all these things. Well, look, perfect fucking match, because we're great at the things you say you suck at. Okay? How long have you been at this? Right? So you can also, you've been at this for 5 years, you haven't been able to scale a brand, right? Isn't it time to actually make it go big, finally, with all the effort you've put in? What do you see as the potential of your brand? Why aren't you there yet? All right, this is the same. This is just widening the gap between where they are and where they want to get to, right? And if they've been here for 5 years stuck and they want to get here, right? And they see this as the potential, and then it's over here, and then why aren't they there yet? What you're really implying is they're not there yet because they haven't hired you. And you're going to explain that in the pitch, okay? This is the same question. This one just hammers home how bad their current situation is. Okay, so if you stayed where you are for another 6 months, 12 months, a year, 2 years, what does your life look like then if you're in the same scenario, same spot, right? I don't use this anymore, but this is a typical sales script sort of question. It's just, again, to widen the gap between where they are and where they want to be. So use your judgment on this one. If they're a decent brand, they're doing 50K months and they're happy, I wouldn't really ask this. If they're struggling and they're under 10K, right? And they're like, you know what, the business is going to go under if I'm here for another 6 months. I won't have a business anymore. And I put so much time, effort, sweat, tears into it, right? Blood, sweat, and tears. And 6 months down the line, it won't even be functional anymore. You're like, great. Like, Now you got them. Because on objection handling, you can say, well, like you said, right? If you don't get to your goal within 6 months, your business is going to collapse and die. So yes, I understand we're expensive, but you also understand logically the systems that we're going to implement for you. We guarantee you results contractually. So there's basically no risk for you. The only risk is going to be not taking action, not doing this today. Because like you said in your own words at the start, remember, you told me that if this doesn't go, your business is going to collapse and die within 6 months. But now like, fuck, that's right. Okay? So all of this, all these questions are just to gather ammunition for objection handling. All right? The other one, conversely, if we get you to where you want to be, what changes for the better? Okay? So if we get you all the way to $200,000 months, from 3 to 30K months, right? What changes for the better? What does your life look like then? Right? Paint a picture for me. This is again to do this and this. Last question is, what would the perfect agency experience look like for you? Okay? And again, the reason you ask this directly is because then you could be like, okay, perfect. Remember how you said the perfect agency experience for you is X? Well, we do X, and then on top of that, we do Y and Z as well, so it like completely matches with what you want, right? All this just gives you strength for your pitch. And then you start the pitch, right? So pitch your shit. This is how it starts. Like you said, X important for you, that's what we do, okay? We've spent over, I never use this anymore, ever, but on the first calls I did. We spent over $5 million in ad spend in the last 12 months, so we know what we're doing, right? But again, I don't want you to judge on that number. That could be completely made up, right? Anyone can say whatever they want. I want you to judge me on the base of my logic that I present as I present the systems to you, okay? And if they make logical sense, that's how you'll be able to tell, yeah, Edward knows what he's talking about, or Edward's full of shit, okay? So don't get carried away by these numbers, even though this is true, okay? So basically at a high level, we are going to come in, we're going to take over your entire marketing funnel, and we're going to take care of everything, okay? All you have to do is step back and let things run. The initial onboarding call after you sign a contract, right, is where we get all the information needed to actually begin, and that's really the only time commitment we require of you, okay? So you said you need to get to X many dollars of revenue a month, this goal here, right? And then profits, full-time, to do whatever you want, like, you know, these are just options. And we want to get you out of the grind of being stuck where you are right now, and instead get you to where you want to be, right? So basically there's 3 core things we do, or you can say 5, right? Because there's 3, 4, 5, okay? So you can say, basically there's 5 core things we do, and I'm going to explain all of them, okay? But just to understand this, you need to have a full strategy that takes information in from everywhere. Right, because kaleidoscope is the wrong word here. I don't know why I use it, right? But okay, let's roll with it. There basically is this kaleidoscope of data coming in, and you have to coalesce and condense it into a reliable, predictable, and highly profitable income stream. So we're a TikTok ads agency, right? But you need more than just TikTok for that. You need entire systems built, and that's what we do, okay? So first of all, let me explain how we guarantee TikTok winners. And then you go to ads creation, ads delivery, post-click optimization, and then Facebook retargeting and community building. All this sort of stuff, okay? So let me run through that. 1, ad creation. You say, okay, you know how it's always difficult to come up with ad concepts. So you can say, okay, I want to film a video about this, and it's going to be like, just kind of high-level ad-ons. Like I'm going to film a video kind of about this, about this, about this, about this, about this, and already you're exhausted. Like you can't think of really more variations, right? And you make these ads, 5 ads, and you throw them out there. And you know, if you have one that happens to hit, like you don't know. Will 5 hit? Will 1 hit? Will 0 hit? You have no idea. And let's say 1 hits, right? You can scale that one to a decent level, but ad fatigue starts affecting it after a few weeks, so it's going to start dying. You can't keep milking just one ad. The problem here is you're looking at ads on a meta level, on a high level. You're coming up with high level ad concepts, right? But when we get granular into what we're doing, and when we have an ad structure that is actually made up of individual B-roll clips coupled with voiceovers, you can mix and match them to really become kind of like Lego blocks for your business. So let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say we have one clip that introduces the product. One clip that gives the benefit, first benefit of the product. Another clip that gives second benefit. Another clip that gives third benefit. One clip that gives a customer testimonial, right? One clip that talks about the problem that the product solved in their life. One clip that talks about, you know, the problems they've had using competitor products and why they weren't any good. If we make those, we can first of all, when we storyboard things out, we can make multiple clips for each of those concepts, right? So we can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different product intros. We can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different variations for each product benefit. What I mean by that, let's say benefit 1 is like, it'll alleviate muscle pain for you, right? That's the first benefit, okay? You can film a clip saying that, hey, this thing will alleviate muscle pain in your office. You can film another clip saying, hey, this thing will alleviate muscle pain in your bedroom. You can film another clip saying, hey, this thing will alleviate muscle pain in your kitchen, outside, in the bathroom, whatever the fuck. Each of those then become different clips. And what we do is we come together and we create this asset library for your brand. And what the asset library is a bunch of these B-roll footage clips plus voiceovers, and we can take all these clips, individual clips, and stitch them together into different ad concepts that end up producing winners. Now, because we have very granular data inside the ads manager, right? What ends up happening is when we look at that data, we see exactly what timestamp people take what action, right? So if let's say we have a very simple winning ad concept, right? It's like a winning hook, and at the end, winning call to action, last couple seconds. And sandwiched in between are just 3 elements. One is product intro, second is product benefits, third is customer testimonial. And we go and storyboard 5 different scenes for each of those, and we send this out to 3 creators, okay? That means for each of those 3 clips in the middle, we have 15 total clips, right? 5 scenes times 3 creators equals 15. For that very simple ad, right? That is proven the underlying ad structure works and your customer avatar resonates with it and they buy because they see when they see it, right? We will then have 15 times 15 times 15, 15 to the power of 3, which is, you think and you pretend, like 4,300-ish, okay? Different ads using that winning permutation, right? That winning combination, that underlying structure. So this is how we're able to actually guarantee ad winners. Does that make sense to you? And you guys, I said it kind of high level now. If you just copy my words here, or you watch my sales calls and copy what I say there, you won't need more. Because this is enough for the prospect to feel like, yeah, okay, they know what they're talking about, they have some system in place. Okay. Other things you can say is, so what we're doing is we're applying the scientific method to a creative endeavor, which is really a bit of an oxymoron, but that's the best way of doing things. Okay. And then let me just pull up this lucid charts thing and show you what that looks like. Okay. And what that looks like, I'll put a screenshot under this video. I'll give a link to a screenshot that you guys can just copy, make your own, so not everyone's using the same fucking screenshot. But what this screenshot looks like is just literally, it says like product benefits, product intro, customer testimonials, and it says clip 1, clip 2, clip 3, clip 4, and then different color. Clip 1, clip 2, clip 3, clip 4, clip 5, clip 6, clip 7, different color. Clip 1, clip 2, clip 3, etc. Right? And you say, okay, this is your asset library. We can take each of those clips and just stitch them together and then, take them apart and make different ads from these initial little clips. So that's the big benefit of what we're doing. We're like playing with Lego blocks, okay? And when you have that, you can very quickly iterate in real time to the data that you're getting inside the ads manager to find best performing winners for you, okay? And what I'll also do, I'm gonna write this down, is I will give you guys examples of UGC ads structured like this. Okay, and then I'll make another video about this ad creation. It's not difficult. It just sounds fancy, but it's actually very easy to execute. Okay, and this will be the first thing that you tell them. They're like, whoa, okay, these guys have a real method. Okay, so up next is ads delivery. Okay, so ads creation, you understand that's how I make the ads. Okay, up next, ads delivery. This is actual media buying. This is actually a good story here. Okay. I stopped using it because I don't like promising this return ad spend anymore because I don't need to, but you guys can use this, okay? Because if you promise higher return ad spend, there's always variables in place. If you don't reach it, you have excuses, blah, blah, blah. At the start, you just want to close the fucking people because the sale is what's most important, not fulfillment, the sale, okay? So I'm giving you stuff and material here to close people and make money off these people, okay? Second part, guys, is ads delivery, okay? So this is like media buying. Media buying is just, the industry term for going inside the ads manager, clicking all the right buttons, doing all the right stuff. Have you ever been inside the ads manager? They'd be like, yes. Most people will say yes, some people will say no. Okay, if you haven't been in there, you can just imagine, it's a very, very complicated, complex interface with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different options. So if you go in there as a raw beginner, as a rookie on your own, right, you're gonna get completely overwhelmed with the amount of options and data points and everything, right? Because there's literally hundreds of metrics to look at. Like if you guys read what I'm doing here, I'm just quickly reading this and talking about it, right? I'm reading this and talking about it, right? I'm reading this and talking about it. So there's hundreds and hundreds of metrics to look at, and it's really, really impossible, if you've not done this before, if you have no experience, like years and years and years of experience, like we have, to be able to separate the signal from the noise, right? Most of it's going to be noise, but you want to know the signal points, right? So what is it that actually matters? Is it my CPC? Is it my CPM? Is it my thumb stop ratio? Is it my CTR? Is it my CPA? All these numbers are going to make your head spin. Guys, I did that on purpose right now in this video. I just did those abbreviations for those things. CPC, CPM, thumb stop, CTR, CPA. The assumption here is that the prospect on the other side doesn't know what the fuck these are, okay? My assumption is you don't even know what the fuck these are, okay? But the point is you present yourself as having this level of technical expertise that's above them, and because you talk about this so casually, they assume you're an expert, okay? And the reality is, I really think this, to come across as an expert to anybody else, you really just need 1% more information than they have about the subject matter, okay? And that 1% makes all the difference. So if you just say like this, like casually, it's my CPC, is it my CPM, is it my thumb stop ratio, is it my CTR, is it my CPA? Like all these numbers are gonna make your head spin. And the effect is, when you say those numbers like that, it makes their head spin, okay? Now, so you guys understand, I'm gonna go through these numbers. CPC is cost per click, okay? So when somebody clicks an ad, how much it costs whoever's paying the ad spend, which is the client. Okay? CPM is cost per 1,000 impressions. So how much money it costs you for that ad to place it in front of 1,000 people. Okay? Thumb stop ratio is the percentage of people who, when they're scrolling, right, on their feed or whatever, whether it's on TikTok, whether it's on Meta, whatever the fuck, they actually pause and stop and start to watch. Okay? CTR, click-through rate. What percentage of people who see the ad click it? Okay? CPA is really cost per action, but I call it cost per acquisition because it amounts to the same thing, and cost per acquisition sounds more serious and real, okay? Because action is cost per acquisition, okay? It's really cost per action, all right? But when you're running converting ads that are supposed to drive sales, it's your cost per acquisition. So how much it costs you to acquire one customer for that particular product, okay? Again, back to the script. All these numbers make your head spin, right? And unless really you're in it every single day without fail, you just lose full control. You have no idea what's going on, okay? This is why when we come in, we take care of everything. You just step back and let things run. So the initial onboarding call is where we get all the information from you. We know you're busy, so we free up your time to focus on all the other aspects of the business that you love doing while we take care of all the marketing, okay? Only thing you have to do is order fulfillment and customer service, and we handle literally all the rest. Okay? Does that make sense? Yes. So the other big advantage is really the biggest value proposition that we offer to customers, aside from making them shitloads of money, is we just free up your time to focus on parts of the business that you love doing while we do what you probably hate, which is the marketing, which we're great at and we love doing. We're very creative, right? And we have solid systems in place to take advantage of that. Okay? So does that make sense so far? Yeah, it makes sense. Does that sound good? Is anything not clear? No, it's all good. Okay, this part, this is up to you. If I was doing this exact script now, I would just skip over this part. But you can do it because I prefer to set expectations very low on the sales call. This is what I teach my sales reps too. You set expectations very low, right? And then when we surpass them, they're super happy and thrilled and they love us, right? Versus setting expectations sky high in kind of like this false attempt to, you think you have a higher chance of signing them, but that's not really the case. That's why I would skip it. But okay, you can still set expectations high and they're like, okay, fuck, we're gonna get huge ROAS. But then when you ultimately fail to deliver, you gotta deal with angry clients, right? So up to you. I was doing this at the start. So you guys are at the starting point, you can do it too, okay? Now, what I have to explain is return on ad spend, ROAS, right? That's a very important metric. That's kind of what drives the whole business, your whole business, okay? So you know how you put $1 in, right, into ads? What's the ideal scenario? You make 2, right? But on TikTok, when you have the right structure and the right systems in place, right, which we're gonna implement for you, because it's such an underutilized platform and competition is low, and when you're working with somebody who has real experience, like us, right, when you put $1 in, what do you get back? 3, sometimes 4, as a bare minimum, okay? Now, that's really the bare acceptable standard for us, for our clients. You want to put $1 and get $3 or $4 back out. But other clients have gotten 6x, 7x, 8x for OS, right? Now, obviously, that's like best case. I'm not going to promise you that, but I can promise you 3 to 4x for OS when all elements align. And when you have that, you have right away the potential to go much higher. Make sense? Yes. So also see how I did save myself here. I can promise you 3 to 4x for OS when all elements align, right? So if they come in and they're like, where's my 4x ROAS? Well, you're like, well, hey, not all the elements have aligned yet, right? Okay, third thing we do then is post-click optimization, okay? Now, this is the most important thing at the start because it's the lowest hanging fruit, and post-click optimization is everything that happens after somebody clicks an ad. So we have to improve the entire funnel and the whole customer journey, okay? First thing is conversion optimization, like I talked to you about before. Other thing is email flow, but let's go like this. I'll just give you a quick little story, and so you guys understand the importance of this stuff, okay? So we had another client, she came to us last year, and she had a beautiful, stunning website. Like when she booked her call, I thought she was honestly like a multi-million-dollar a month brand. I was super excited. And she was selling like Mediterranean-inspired skincare stuffs, like vitamin C serums and lotions and things like that, okay, creams. She was by trade an industrial designer. She had a very good eye for aesthetics, okay? Her site looked so good that she had wholesalers reaching out to her every couple months being like, hey, we want to stock your stuff. Now, her answer was always to them like, hey, guys, I'd love to, but I do this in my kitchen. I can only handle $500 worth of orders a month, right? So she was very small scale, but she had a great design on the website and it made it look like a much bigger brand. Now, the problem is her conversion rate was dirt low, okay? Her conversion was, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was under 0.5%. So I don't know, let's say 0.46 or something, okay? We came in, first month, right away, the first thing we did was we kept her same style, kept her same aesthetic. We just moved stuff around, put in conversion rate best practices, kept her same landers, but just implemented conversion rate best practices, which is really just trust, adding trust factors for the consumers, right? And we got her conversion rate up from 0.5 to almost, like not quite, but almost 3. So again, 2.8, whatever, right? So what that means is before, she was actually running Facebook ads by herself and she had no idea what she was doing and she was somehow able to break even. So she was running totally crappy Facebook ads, right? And before, on a 0.5% conversion rate, she would need 200 people to click an ad to get one sale worth $30. And on that hugely inefficient funnel, she was able to break even. So she just locked into Facebook ads without even properly having set them up, right? Now, when we came in and fixed up her conversion rate, we got it up to 3. So what that means is on the same 200 people clicking her same ads that aren't properly set up, right? She gets, instead of 1 sale, now she gets 6 sales, average order value $30, 6 times 30, $180. So if she was break even before making $30 at 180, she's now wildly profitable, okay? That's just underscores the importance of conversion rate optimization and post-click optimization. And this is all the stuff that we do. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. You can also do a screen share and share that thing that I showed you guys in an earlier video to actually hammer in the points of like, this element works because this element works and this element works and this element works, or you'll see on my sales calls exactly what I do. Okay. Number 4. Okay, is Facebook retargeting. Now this is, guys, this is really, really fucking cool, okay? So what you get on TikTok are very, very cheap and highly converting traffic, highly converting clicks, okay? What we do as a first level is we just collect all that data and then we take all those clicks, all those people, and we retarget them on other platforms like Facebook, okay? What that means is proper retargeting cross-platform is like just like a treasure chest that you open every once in a while, collect all the loot, and then run away. Okay, really. Because when you retarget, you can get return ad spend of 30 to 50x. So you put $1 in, you get up to $50 out, which is insane. Now the caveat being is there's a cap on this. It's not unlimited. It's only worth, the audience that you've collected on TikTok. But we had one client, they were a sneaker brand, okay? They were very good on Facebook. They went to Instagram, we grew them there, and fuck is this? I haven't seen this for a while. We had one client, they were a sneaker brand, good on Facebook, went to Instagram and grew them there, and then launched retargeting, guess what, CPA down. Okay, this is just say TikTok, okay, went to TikTok. Okay, so we had one brand working with us. They were a sneaker brand. Okay, so they're selling shoes. They were doing pretty well on Facebook, right? They want to go to TikTok. We came in, we put their stuff on TikTok and grew them there, and we matched about the same revenue level they were doing on Facebook. Now, then what we did is we collected all that pixel data on TikTok and we set up retargeting campaigns on Facebook in addition to the stuff that they were running, right? But on a separate ad account, so it's like just connected to us, so the data doesn't mix, okay? So they can attribute what we've done to us, okay? And on those retargeting ads, that's retargeting the TikTok audience that we, exposed to their product, guess what happened? Their cost per acquisition to acquire one customer went down by 86%. Okay, so if it cost them before $10 to acquire a customer to buy a, $50, $60, $70 pair of shoes, sneakers, right? Now it just costs them $1.40 to buy the same $50 to $60, $70 pair of sneakers. Okay, imagine the difference in profits that brings you. Now, again, like I said, this is retargeting is like a treasure chest, right? It fills up over time, and every once in a while you can open it, loot it, run away with the money, close it again, and you have to wait for it to build up again, right? This is not infinite scale. This is just for the audience that's been found on TikTok. But that's the power of Facebook retargeting. That's the power of having a full throttle strategy across all the ad platforms. Does that make sense? Yeah, wow, fuck, that sounds great. Like, guys, honestly, as I'm doing this, because I haven't done this script for a while, like this script is probably stronger than I'm doing now, right? Just off the cuff. Okay, number 5 is community building. It's the last thing. This is super important for brands like yours, okay? The reason is we want to funnel everybody who ever interacts with you or your website or your brand into a gated community that you control, okay? And what does that really mean? It means both an email list and a Facebook group, okay? Now, I'm gonna go show you guys an example of a great Facebook group of this brand called Obvi, O-B-V-I, right? And you guys can pull it up on Facebook, right? And go through the group. And you can see that this group collects people who have interacted with your brand. By default, all the people who are gonna join your group are people who love your brand, are loyal customers. And these days, honestly, people are so disconnected, right? Then when they feel part of a community, that gives them, something very important in addition to whatever benefits the product provides. Okay, so when you can funnel people into a Facebook group and build that community there, what happens is all your happy customers become your best brand ambassadors to get other people coming in to just buy more of your stuff. Okay, and Obvi does it really, really, really great, right? Because again, everybody is disconnected right now. They want to feel like they're part of a community. We give them that opportunity, right? Just like for Obvi. Now, Obvi, and then you guys go to Facebook if you want to show them. Search up OBVI, okay, and be like, look, this is Obvi, and you see there's like weight loss stuff and supplements and shit like that, right? Like pink colored, collagen, whey, whatever. You'll see, like you guys will actually see, random customers are like, hey, I'm new to Obvi, I just bought this thing, right? This protein powder. What else do I need? And there's like 10 other people saying, oh, buy this and this and this. This other person, yeah, this and this and this is so great. Yeah, this and this and this helped me lose weight. And the original person comes down and says, okay, yeah, I just added all those to my cart too. Now I'm so excited. Right? And it's just organic. And you guys can literally show that on sales calls to people and say, yeah, we'll build that for you. Okay? Now, emphasize this. We don't run the community, we just funnel people there. Okay? It's up to you to actually run it. Right? And funnel them there is what? You just put the link to the Facebook group in the emails you set up for them. Okay? That's it. That's the pitch. Okay? And at the end of every single section, say, does that make sense? Do you need more? Do you need any more from me? Does that make sense? They're like, yeah, it makes sense. Okay? This part I wrote out. I've never actually done it myself. Students have done it. I don't know how much it helps. Okay? But, like, I've never run this. I've never done it. But this is what you can say. Okay, look, brand owner. Right now you're at $10,000 months, right? You want to get to $100,000 months. You want to 10x your monthly revenue. If you were to try doing this on yourself, you would have to find creators. You have to storyboard ads for them. You have to purchase ads correctly. You have to pivot fast to data to be able to react within the hour, okay, when we're running paid traffic. You have to optimize your entire funnel. You have to increase your conversion rate. You have to increase your percentage of revenue that comes from email per month. Word that better, okay? You have to do all this other shit that we talked about, okay? Now, you told me at the start of the call that you've spent the last 18 months at this, okay? And you're just stuck at those $10,000 months, right? I've shown you the systems that can get you here, which, okay, maybe 100,000 seems out of reach. Let's cut that in half and say 50,000. So I've shown you systems that get you to 50,000 within 3 or 4 months, okay? Every single month that goes by, as it has in the past, is costing you minimum $40,000 in revenue that you're just not making, right? Now, that's the low point, right? And $40,000 times 12 months is what? $480,000 a year that you're missing out on because you just don't have the expertise to run these systems. Guess what? We do. That's what we're best at, okay? So you're not where you need to be, right? That's why you got on this call with us, right? So if you were to do it alone, you can spend the next year or 2 or 3 trying to figure it out and bang your head against the wall like you have for the past 18 months, right? Unable to crack it. And doing it for a year will cost you $480,000 minimum, right? Try and do it on your own. And then off 2 years, it's almost $1 million. Try and do it on your own if you keep the same trajectory. Versus if you take a different trajectory, sign on with us, someone who knows what they're doing, and builds these systems and has scaled stores successfully in the past, right? Then you have that sudden money that you want and you get the level that you want, okay? So not taking action on this will cost you $500,000 this year, next 12 months, right? And that's just from one channel. That's just from TikTok. Imagine when we add in Facebook and Instagram and Google and YouTube and Pinterest, right? The potential for your brand is enormous. And again, guys, because you have such amazing profit margins, like you told me, and customers really love your products, you're not competing with all the drop-shipped garbage brands that are running ads. You have such a huge competitive advantage. That's why I would really love to work with you and grow you guys and prove ourselves to you. Does that make sense? Yeah, it makes sense. All right, that's how I do that. The cost of not solving a problem. And then you go into pricing, right? And they're like, okay, yeah, that's it for me. Does that all make sense? Like, yeah, how does that sound, right? Does it sound good? Do you want to work with us? Yes, that sounds so fucking good, Edward. I really want to work with you. I have full conviction that you know what you're doing and you have my full confidence. Let's go forward. How do we move forward? Well, okay, I just got to explain the pricing. Okay, what's the pricing? Remember I said in a previous video on sales, guys, that you can try my pricing here, okay? But I would rather, if you don't have full confidence being able to charge prices like this, I'd rather you significantly drop it, do like 3K at the top, 2.5 at the bottom, 3K up top, 2.5 in the middle, and 2 at the bottom here, okay? Sell people like that, get those positive reference experiences. Have in your head, yeah, I can close people, yeah, people give me money, yeah, I can do the sales call structure, yeah, I can grow an agency. And over time, then as you get more confidence, you just bump the number up that you say, right? So I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna do my pricing, how we do it now, because those are just that's what's in my head. That's what I'm used to. And when I say, okay, what's the price? Like, okay, so it goes like this. We have 4 months retainer. We have a 4-month retainer because I need 4 months to make everything work. The first month is all build. So we build out all the assets. We do the funnel work. We do the website. We do the email flows. We do the customer avatar research to create the ads we do the storyboarding. We send out products to our creators, right? They film all the clips. Our video editors come in, make, the finished ads from those clips, and we create the whole asset library. All we talk about, that's all build. Month 2, 3, and 4 are active media buying, okay? So this is when we're running ads to your store. The stuff that we've built, we don't stop working on it. Actually, more work starts when data starts coming in and traffic starts coming in, because we have to react to that data real time to make improvements and make optimizations always, right? So we give you the best chance of success as quickly as possible, but we always react to data as well. That's why I need 4 months to make it work, okay? Now, the pricing is, I'm gonna give you the tiers that I wanna get you to where it makes sense paying us that, okay? Now, you guys, if you do my pricing, say it like this. If you do your own pricing that's lower, don't say it like this. Just say, hey, these are the tiers that we have, okay? So I'm gonna pretend tiers, okay? Okay, so pricing, we have 3 different tiers. For brands doing over $100,000 a month, we charge $10,000 monthly plus 10% of all revenue that we bring in. And they're gonna write it down, like, okay. Okay, for brands between $50,000 and $100,000 a month, we charge 7.5 monthly plus 15% of all revenue we bring in. They're like, okay. And then for brands smaller than that, right, so under 50K, we charge 5K a month for every single month, And then we have a tiered return on ad spend where we take 30% off the first 10,000 you earn, 20% of the second 10,000 you earn, and 10% on the rest. Now, this is what I started with, okay? People get confused as fuck when you do this. So your choice, better choice with experience. This is something I would actually change in the initial script for you guys. You say for brands under 50K a month, I charge 5,000 flat, and I don't take a percentage of revenue because I want you to put as much profits back into ad spend so we can scale as quickly as possible. That's the cleanest. And they only have three numbers in their head: 10K, 7.5K, and 5. Plus revenue, no revenue here. Okay, number one. Number two, you could do it like this. For brands doing under 50K a month, right? We charge 5,000 flat, and then we take 15% on everything above the first 30,000 each month. So first 30,000 we don't touch, and then everything above 30,000 we take 15%. That's cleaner, that makes more sense to them, and you can justify it by saying, because I want to give you, I don't want to artificially bottleneck your business, and I want you to be able to commit as much to ad spend as possible so we can scale and grow you as fast as possible. The advantage of doing a percentage revenue on the bottom tier is when they object about price and stuff, and when you loop them through the things and do objection handling properly, right? Which is, you say, yes, that's super expensive, right? I totally agree with you, but remember how you said you have this big issue, and we're gonna solve this big issue, and our systems make actual sense to you. Yes, it doesn't make sense to get started. Like, yeah. Or like, no, it's still quite expensive. And like, okay, well, it's the only thing, I was gonna do objection handling with price, but I don't wanna do that in this video. But basically, if you objection loop them 3 times and they're still not budging, then you can start lowering the price. And the first easiest thing to do, because most of your clients are gonna be under 50K, right, to start, or most of the prospects you talk to will be under 50K to start. What you do is you say, okay, cool, so we can do a 5K a month retainer, and let me just get rid of that revenue completely, so that as long as I have your promise that you'll put as much as possible back into ad spend so we can scale it quickly. And they'll be like, oh, okay, that's a good deal, okay, yeah. But that retainer is still a little bit high. And then objection handling, okay? Objection handling will be in a different video because it's a different thing. When you do this script, okay, because this is the first part. When you do this script, you want them to have full conviction and full belief in that your thing is the best fucking thing ever, you're the best agency ever, and they want to work with you, okay? If it's not a resounding yes, when you say, hey, do you want to work with us, does this make sense, right? Then you gotta work on this part of the script, okay? When you've nailed this part, this is all on autopilot. You don't even think, right? You just say it. Like sometimes on calls, not often, but like I'm just scrolling my phone, right? Looking at messages and looking at like, my business partners messaging me, other people, clients messaging me, and I'm just like blah, 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 but I'm like looking at my phone, totally not paying attention. Isn't the best thing to do, but that's what I mean. It's all on autopilot, the whole pitch, right? The whole script up to the end point, which is when you drop the price, give them the price, they know what they have to pay. Then you start objection handling. Objection handling is the only kind of variance you'll ever encounter. At the start, because you're just starting out, run this script, learn this script, make sure at the end of your pitch, everybody is sold. Not everybody will buy, fuck no, but everybody will be sold. That's what you want to aim for. That's what this script gets you to. Last thing, when I talk about this stuff, right, in this script, some of you, maybe most of you, will be like, holy shit, Edward really, really sounds like he knows what he's talking about in e-commerce. Yes, I do, but I've trained salespeople who have zero experience in e-com just to use this script, and this script alone just gives the impression of vast knowledge in e-com. You do not need to have anything like, this is the surface level, right? You don't need a deep well of information or knowledge about e-com beneath it, okay? You just present the surface level just like it's in this script, and that's it. If you give them that, you will automatically be considered an expert in e-com in their eyes. Okay, so this is, I was gonna say it's a little bit like fake it until you bake it, but you actually don't need to make it, right? You can just keep faking it. Because this level of the script, the stuff that's said here, if you learn these fucking words, that's all you need. You don't even need to know, what really CTR is or CPA is or CPC is or how to run the fucking ads. You don't need to know that. Because what you are right now is you're a salesperson and you're learning how to sell, okay? Fulfillment comes later. We don't worry about fulfillment now. We just worry about getting people into sales calls for you and closing them on that call. That's the most important thing. This is how you're going to make money. Okay? So, I think that's it for me. There's the script. You guys run with it, play with it. Change this. Went to IG. Change this to went to TikTok. That was just, mistake by me. And this is where I started, right? This is what I gave my one-on-one students. This is what I'm giving you guys now. This is the strongest base possible. This is a script on its own should get you 20% closing rate if you're just starting out and you have no confidence in sales. Once you get better, right, and learn how to handle objections and all this, it should be up to 30, maybe 35%, right? Get to my level. But for 35%, you really got to focus, right? So that's it for me. Cheers.